My husband recently told me he wants his mother to move into our home permanently.
Ooh, child.
Things are not gonna get easier.
First of all, they definitely have to agree, both of them. Like, how are you? Actually, I saw this woman. They divorced for this exact issue.
This is divorceable.
This is divorceable.
Yep.
He was like, the kids love my mom at home. I love her. So the only problem is you. She's like, but who are you married to? You're married to me. And this is my home. He's like, this is the end of the conversation. It's happening. They're moving in. That was cause for divorce.
Hi guys, Murugi Munyi here.
It's Lydia KM.
And we're back again with another episode of
The Messy In Between.
It's definitely TMI.
You said it won't hurt a bit if I allow you to stitch these open wounds while you kiss me. Take a deep breath, air in my chest, counting to 3. Take a deep breath, air in my chest, counting to 3. Faith is a leap, trusting your...
Okay, I love that. That's good.
That's what
Things
I can
have
give.
picked up.
That's
Things
it.
have picked up.
Last episode it was just TMI.
It was just TMI.
TMI.
If that. Is it even TMI?
Was it even?
This is the episode after the last one. Jo still is not feeling well, but this is episode 2. She's eaten. She's had her Red Bull. We've had a yap.
When I
many
should have been
yaps.
napping.
You should have been napping,
I
honestly.
was this close to falling asleep, and then I had to say, Jo, and that's usually the tagline when she's about to now start talking about something serious, especially something that she learned in therapy. She's like, Jo, put down your phone, turn around and get ready.
Yeah, and then she just turned around. Oh, I didn't even think of that. I should have let you nap.
No, it's okay. That's the nap after this shoot day is
It
gonna
would be 10 out of 10.
I literally can't wait.
It
But
will be 10
we
out
are
of
here and we're dedicated and we're excited. And the episodes that we've shot today are particularly exciting because like episodes where we are getting to go through life stuff is always exciting episodes. It just allows us to see what are people going through, how similar are they to the situations that we are going through. And also I feel like it just helps us all feel like we are all in the messy in between together. We are all in the actually this episode of this title should be like the messy in between because it really is the messy in between. But before we get into that, guys, please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on a podcast platform, click the plus over there somewhere. Just be part of our journey, guys. It helps us know who is watching so that we can tailor make content specifically for you and the life stuff that you guys are going through. It also just helps us connect with you. It helps us keep the podcast going, by the way, because it costs money and it's expensive. Ooh. And we want you guys to help us be part of the journey of creating this environment together, this community together. So please do subscribe. We would love to have you be an in-betweener. Follow us on our social media handles, Murugi Munyi, Lydia KM, TMI Podcast KE. We love having you guys on our socials. And trust me, at Amta Boeka, you will not be bored. We really do our thing there. And our social media manager, one day we should have an episode where she's just here on.
Yeah, because
what is the inspiration of Messy
Mondays?
Some
of the things that you
some
do.
of the things she posts, I'm like, girl, what is going on in your life? Tell us about it. But yeah, anyway, today's episode is about life stuff. It's about the messy in between. There are so many. I would say this is my favorite genre of other podcasts.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Or like am I an asshole?
Right?
Those
am I
are
an
my
asshole?
favorite
Or it's
ones.
just like seeing what are life situations that other people are in and how would I react if I was in that same situation. Terembe also does this on her stories sometimes.
Like,
what would you do if?
Yeah.
And I really find it so intriguing because it's like many of us are not in situations which often you're giving advice about. But sometimes you listen to a situation and you're like, okay, if I was there, what indeed would I do?
Yeah. And
would I
funny
do
enough,
the same thing? Yeah.
Those kind of questions or situations are the ones that show me what I think about things.
Right.
Is that because, in your day-to-day, you're not being triggered to have these kind of conversations or like going on this specific topic. So I'm like, oh, that's what I think about that.
Right.
And I really like that. So I can see what I probably need to challenge.
Yeah.
Or also like, okay, go off. You've grown as well. Because your viewpoint is more open.
Exactly. And sometimes you can't really be 100% sure because it's like, okay, if you're talking about someone who's like been married 50 years. Okay, we have not been married 50 years. So we can only just
guess.
but put ourselves in that kind of situation. But like we are not actually there. So whatever we say and our advice that we give here and our viewpoints, take it with that pinch of salt because we're not actually the ones in the situation. But
and we really want you guys to participate in this because this ones is not like the dilemmas that other people, even those ones you participate, but these ones is like it's a group project because it's no one who we know, all of us
it's
together.
no one we know.
So we're going to just say like first situation, second situation, third situation, and then you can just tell us what you think on the comments below.
Exactly. We've tried to select things which are not necessarily like our usual leave him, but they're more like, what would I do?
Nuanced.
Sort of like nuanced, like, okay, what would we in fact do in that kind of situation? Let me give you not an example. Let's actually just start so we can get into it. Number one, the title is My Husband Wants to Charge Our Adult Son Rent. Our 24-year-old son moved back home after graduating from college. He has a full-time job and earns decent money. My husband recently told him that starting next month, he needs to pay $500 a month in rent. Our son was shocked. He said, I thought I came home so I could save for my own place. My husband replied, you're an adult with a job. Living anywhere costs money. I understand both sides. I want our son to save and get ahead, but my husband believes letting him live completely free is teaching him nothing about responsibility. Now they're barely speaking. What should we do?
So I think number one would have been like, is parents tell us, isn't this something to first discuss, or do you just go and just have the conversation with the kid?
I mean, I think it depends because like, you see, sometimes it's not
That's
like
a big one.
You can't, maybe the dad hadn't even thought about it for long. Maybe he was just sitting there and just thought, by the way, you've been here just walking around. So you pay rent.
Yeah.
Maybe it was something like that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it, like most things should be discussed before, but like maybe there's a reason why they hadn't discussed it before. I don't know.
It's true. I mean, for me, I'm a beneficiary of a parent who feels like they are parent until forever.
Yeah.
And like anything we need, it's like the world is going to be challenging and there's going to be things that we're going to struggle, but they don't want to match the energy of the world. They want to be the place where we can go when we need support. We can go when we are looking for like, you know, that safety. And also the privilege of having parents who are supportive gives you an edge in the way that you exist in life. So it's like they want us to benefit from that. I think we had talked about this a bit. We were like, is there evidence that this child is responsible and that they actually are like all well-rounded? Then maybe that, because you know, if someone is being a bum, I get what you need, why you need to do that. Yeah.
I feel like, okay, I understand like a lot of parents fear that their kids are going to have failure to launch.
Yeah.
They fear that, okay, they'll just stay home, get comfortable. Although it doesn't sound like this person is like that because he's working. Also, he has said he is saving up to move out. He's saving up. What did he say? He's saving up to get his own place. So they know that he is trying to get there.
Yeah.
I would want to give my child every push I can. It would be different. I had said it would be different if, for example, we are struggling to make ends meet. We are really struggling, especially with you now having come into the house. We are struggling to pay for food, pay for electricity, pay for whatever. It would be nice, like, since you're working, contribute kind of thing, you know? But if that is not a necessity, I don't see the reason for that. But one thing I've realized is that this is something that many couples fight about, by the way. Even the concept of, do you buy your child their first car or do you not? Do you set them up with their first apartment or do you not? Do you pay for university to the second degree or do you not? And I remember, by the way, when I was growing up, my dad had always said that he's paying for us our first degree. If you want to do anything beyond that, you're on your own. But not really you're on your own, but like kind of like you need to figure it out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which, by the way, for both me and my older sister Angie worked out because after we finished our first degree, we both applied for scholarships, and that's what took us through our next our postgraduate degrees. Which I was like, okay, fine. That, I guess that was just like his way of trying to like push you kind of go into the world kind of thing. But yeah, in this case, it just feels a little bit much.
Yeah, I think I don't know if that's like more like coddling, but I feel like I prefer the parenting style that is just like, I know I'm always going to have parents. And by the way, for many privileged children, they always have that privilege. It's rare that in this like top 10, top 1%, it's just like, oh, we are teaching you a lesson, you need to get out. It's always like, I am going to be able to experiment in life to make these random risks because I know I have parents who are going to be able to back me. And with that, there's like there's a way that you exist in the world that definitely feels a bit more like you can live a life that feels like true to you because it's like you've got backing. But I do know that many other kids have ended up being very dependent, unable to move, unable to launch, and just not having it. But I
feel like it's one of those things where there's no one size fits all. You kind of need to read the attitude of your child. If they're having this entitled like, okay, me, I'm not even going to work or whatever, I'm just going to stay home and do whatever. I want to take a gap year, but like literally it's been a gap 4 years or something
Yeah.
like that, then you kind of need to do something to push them along and like help them stand on their own 2 feet, because also you're not doing them a favor by coddling them completely.
Yes, and infantilizing them financially.
And also this privilege, which usually the top 1 or 10% have, I feel like also even families that are not that wealthy, just knowing that when things get tough, I can go back home. That in itself, not even actually my mom will send me money or whatever, but just knowing if people are mistreating me out here, I can go back home. That's it. I can always go to my mother's house, even if my mom is living in the village, even if she's in a 1-bedroom where, even if she's whatever, I know I have my mom's house and
It's
I can go there and she will take care of me.
World.
Yep, that's all.
It is. Sorry, what was I going to say? I find the perspective of parenting that like essentially we are training soldiers to go out into the worldwide world to fight and to be like, I find that such an interesting approach, knowing that love and warmth and safety, is like such a big part. I am a believer of discipline and focus and hard work and all of that, but I always find it interesting when I see that parents doing that. Maybe tell us if you were parented like you need to pay rent by 18, how did that go? Did that make you more independent, or do you feel like you would have preferred a cushion? Or if you went the other side where you got too much of a cushion and you weren't able to kind of launch enough? I know that sometimes I know that when you're not working for your survival, there's a grit that people who don't have a backing also have. They are grinding for their life. And sometimes that actually can make you more successful, more independent, more focused, versus when it's just like, I have a backing. You feel the consequences of your actions less.
I feel like I believed that until I met you.
Oh,
you
really?
could literally live very comfortably even if you never worked a day in your life.
Right.
But I see how hard you work because you want to have your own things. You want to buy your own stuff. You want to have your own control. You could be like, oh, mom, buy me a car. She can buy you a car tomorrow. But you're like, you're saving. You're trying to make your own way in your own different whatever. You actually changed my perspective of what I imagine people who have wealthier parents act like, or just how they behave in their adult life. Because you see, with you, that's a character thing. And you could have that character thing, that grit, that wanting to push. Even these conversations we're having in the room, it's like, literally someone else could just be like, but why? Why am I doing all that? I could literally just sleep. I could literally just move back to the UK. Exactly. But you have something which is like, you're pushing past that. And for me, I don't know if that's something that you're taught. I don't know if it's just something that someone is born with and other people aren't born with. I honestly don't know how much your parents played a part in that and how much of it is just you, Lydia, the way that you were born. But I see it, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you either don't have the backing of your parents or do have the backing of your parents, because you do have it, but you still have grit.
I totally get it. But I wonder if I didn't, would I be that? You know what I mean? Like I do wonder that sometimes. I've never bought myself a car. This is the first time I'm wanting to buy myself a car. Would I have bought myself a car earlier? Like there's things that I think, but I am more on the side of deeply grateful for the privilege and all of the support. And also it might be because I saw my mom work. So because maybe I interacted with that, well, if you want things, there's this thing that comes with it. You want to do that. And you always imagine that if you had rich parents, you always ask them for things.
Bitch, I would be asleep. You think I would wake up with a Homa to come to the... Please! I wouldn't. And not to say that I would now not work. Maybe I would want to spend my time doing just like things like maybe charity. No, maybe like charity. Maybe I would have like a salon. Like the way I be breaking my back here, like 10 men. Honestly, I don't think that I would. The problem by the way with a lot of African parents is that many of them raise children as like an investment in their future. Not as like, I'm going to be your parent and I will like, until I die, technically, I'm your parent to take care of you. A lot of Africanness right now and the toxicity that comes with the toxicness of African parents is they raise you, you get to 18, you get a job, they expect now it's time for me to relax, and that's where all the black tax comes from, because now they want to be taken care of, like, yes, they have raised you, see, have whatever. Mind you, it was their fucking legal responsibility to do so because they decided to have you, but now a lot of them are expecting for you to now start plowing back. And then when you refuse to, now it's like you're selfish. How could you do that? You know, we're the ones who even educated you. You now need to take your kids, your sisters and your siblings or whatever to school. That's how they see it.
That is a really scary thing. And actually for me, forget anything that I might get. It's I love that I'm not thinking about taking care of anybody else until I'm a mother.
Yep.
That actually, that exhale is the one everyone deserves.
Girl.
But yeah, when I visualize myself as a parent, I'm definitely more like, baby, you can come home.
Baby, you can
come
stay home.
anytime.
Yep.
Ooh, don't let these people make you feel
And
crazy.
then now he'll be shocked when out there his girlfriend is trying to hold him accountable because he's like, but my mom, my mom just said I can have anything I want with my mom.
But
I can come back anytime I want with my
But can I
mom.
tell you something I realized recently? Israel, my baby cousin, who were really so close, his parents sent me his report card.
Yeah.
Right. So I saw his report card and brilliant. He's doing
Fantastic.
so
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
But there's two things that I think he got something like a 72 and one like a 74. I looked down in those, and the first thing I thought in my mind is like, why is he getting that in those? So I know I'm like, oh baby, come home, but I have got a really intense, and it's like it's a curiosity. Like kids can't be perfect at everything. I want to know, like, is there something about this that doesn't come naturally or whatever? But I looked at that and I was like, to be discussed.
Is there additional support we could be offering him
It's more,
to
I'm
whatever?
more like that. Like,
but you see, do you see how this now causes problems with the wives later? Because guess what? It's only your mom that is going to be like that with you. Sometimes, by the way, when I'm with Ethan, I'm just like literally. And I'm sorry if this sounds toxic, but no one is going to love this boy as much as I love this boy.
Clip that. That's the one. That's the
Honestly,
one.
I sometimes just
Boy,
like
a boy mom
I
once
would
said.
literally, a boy mom. Let me tell you, I'm like I would literally go through anything, do anything for this boy's comfort and success and whatever. You know what I mean? But out there is a world where, of course, he's going to meet with somebody, a lady who's been to therapy. So when he's going through something, it's not like his mom who's going to jump in to try and like help and like whatever the situation. She's gonna be like, I trust you're gonna figure it out.
Like you do with his father.
Exactly. And that's where the nini starts coming. And I completely get it. I don't know. This is just one of those tensions that exists forever. Because the things I would do for him, how I look at Zach, I'm like, yes, you're a man. You deal with these things, kind of
Come
thing.
on.
Yeah, come on, do something. Yeah. But let me tell you, the way a mom and their child, like nothing, yeah. But clearly not this man and his child, because he needs to pay the rent. Anyway, this is why we always say, by the way, parenting approaches is one of the most important things to discuss when you're dating someone. Please.
Did I not tell you about that guy who we're talking about? Actually, it was when we were watching Later Daters, there was a woman who was there in her home, and I think her kids were like 34 or something like that, and they were living at home.
Yeah.
And this guy now, like, she's on a date and she's telling him this.
Yeah.
And he was like, why is that happening? Like, why are they still living? Basically being like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So me and my then boyfriend were talking about it, like, about it.
Yeah.
And he was just like, my kids, you get to university to wherever you want to study, and 6 months after that, you're gone. Me, first of all, I'm like, who's gone? In
And
whose
where?
house?
And where?
I'm thinking, what? What?
Yeah, you see now.
Oh, because guess what? I get that.
But Lydia is the other extreme now.
God.
Lydia could be breastfeeding the child till he's 40.
Yeah, I heard there are many benefits to breastfeeding until around a teen.
You're so silly.
Around a teen is when it's truly essential.
It's really, yeah.
Because I was just thinking, oh my God. And this is how I'm projecting my own stuff onto my kids. Who told you your kids need you to be there after uni?
Yeah.
They probably don't. But you are thinking about if you are left all alone because of your stuff, and now you're parenting your kids as you, but they're not you.
But do you think he would? So I feel like maybe a little threat of that after 6 months I'm cutting you off. Maybe just the threat of it could be good, but like not the actual cutting off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not even willing to threaten them. Why?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, we would like to support you to be on your feet after 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do with that?
What can we say?
We can support you like that, and then after that, you see how you can be more independent.
Exactly.
We are always here, but we want to give you like this. You know? Yeah.
Actually, yeah, because you gotta support your kids, man. You gotta support them.
I don't think we're helping each other.
I don't know, baby.
There's a parent being like, this is why this generation is like this.
Yeah, but talk about these things while you're dating, guys. Maybe
I think so.
Even those ones who is like your man, you guys have so much money, but he believes in sending them to a really bad boarding school so that they can build toughness, and so that they can learn how to fight off bullying.
If the point of my hard work is not so that my kids can have a head start,
What is the point?
What are we doing
Why?
here?
No.
What are we doing here?
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Disagree.
Yeah.
Okay, by the way, these are from a page called Mirror Positive 3. She has really good dilemmas. There's another one. My daughter doesn't want to babysit anymore.
Oh dear.
My husband and I have a 16-year-old daughter and 2 younger children. For the past year, we've occasionally asked her to watch them while we work or run errands. Last night, she told us, I don't want to babysit anymore unless you pay me. My husband became upset. He said, they're your siblings. Helping your family shouldn't require payment. She replied, I love them, but they are not my children. That stopped me. She isn't watching them every day, but there have been weekends when she's changed her plans because we needed her home. Part of me thinks helping with siblings is normal family responsibility. Another part wonders if we've started expecting too much from her. Should a teenager be paid for regularly babysitting younger siblings, or is helping simply part of being a family? This is perfect because this is your exact dynamic.
Yeah. I feel like this, first of all, is clearly within the context of a place where there are no nannies.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, so that is
There's
the
no
context
help,
there.
yeah.
Right now, I feel like for us to be in that situation, I don't know. I think I can count on one hand the number of times that we've left Ethan at like, oh, watch the girls or whatever. There's always help around, or me or Zach is there. So within the context of where like maybe you don't have a nanny or a housekeeper or whatever, I would say it's fair for her to charge.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like it's fair for her to charge. And by the way, there are times where in our house, Mukeni is such a hustler entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Every time we ask her to do something, like something which is not what she'd usually do, she'll be like, that's 100 bob, that's 200 bob. But me and Zach love it. And Zach particularly, he's always giggling at it. He's always like, yeah, you sharp mind. Yes, charge people. So he's always encouraging her to do that. Like, not like regular chores that you go open the curtains that now you're charging, but like things which, like, she'll be like, oh, can I wash your car? And then you pay me. Can I do this or whatever? And for us, we always see it as like, yeah, this is how you build someone's, like, okay, you can see monetary worth, you've earned money, you're able to count hours and whatever, and then you're able to see what to spend the money on. So I don't think it's bad. And I think, I mean, Harry's responding saying they are not my kids. Whoa, I don't see you being able to say that to an African parent.
But it's true. And this is precisely what parentification is.
Ooh, yeah.
Parentification is making a child responsible for have responsibilities like an adult.
Yeah.
Taking care of other children, that's an adult responsibility, which means that she probably stopped being a kid a long time ago because of this younger siblings. Of course, the way that she spoke about it was because there was resistance and she was being forced to do it. There's different ways to communicate, but she's right. They're definitely not her kids.
Yeah.
And I can imagine it's like you guys, I have to change my plans to go and do something that I want to do because you guys don't want to sacrifice your own plans.
And they're your kids.
Know? And also, I feel like there's a middle ground of, please, there's a middle ground of them recognizing that it's actually a favor that she's doing them in order to be able to do whatever. I am not in the school of thought like, because you're in this house under this roof, everything that we say must feel fair, must be okay with you. I don't think so. Yeah. I completely understand where she's coming from. Yeah. I feel like it's more like maybe come of it with like as a favor thing than like a demand thing. She might be more likely to, and then when she's not able to, she's not able to.
That's the thing. Also make it be like, no, this is your responsibility to do it.
That's where resentment builds.
That's the thing. And I feel like parents need to recognize that you also have such a huge part to play in how your kids end up interacting later in life.
And with each other,
with each other, because that's what, as you're saying, how resentment starts festering. It's just like now she starts seeing her younger siblings as like this responsibility. I wasn't able to do things because I had to watch them or whatever. When they came along, my life had to pause because I needed to whatever. Whereas she's not the one who had the kids. Yeah. The kids ain't her kids. Yeah, I definitely feel like there should be room for like, okay, a couple of hours, just watch them real quick. But like now having to change your plans. Yeah, I don't know.
I think so.
I would definitely say,
parents don't really want to have to face that. They are actually assigning something that they should be dealing with to someone else. So the way they make it is like helping your family is what you ought to do. Yeah. Ooh, but really the truth is we are expecting her to do something that is our responsibility. And we don't want to have to admit that. Yeah. Yeah.
But you see, now parents would need to be in therapy for them to be able to even get to that place.
But I think sometimes empathy is like, like she's 16, she's not a kid. Yeah. Like she's aware of herself and she feels like she's being compelled to take care of her siblings. Yeah. No, I think a little bit of empathy
would go a long way. Tell us what you think, guys. Do you ever get your older children to watch the younger children?
And by force.
please.
Because some really love to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess some do actually love to do it. But by the way, the law has something to say with that, to do with that. I don't know if it's in Kenya or was it in the UK about like the minimum age a child can be, child like not above 18 or I don't know if it's 16 to be able to watch younger kids.
Because also they're alone.
Exactly.
So that child
and they're
needs
also a
to
child.
be watched as well.
Exactly. So you can't just be at like your 12-year-old, you've left them now to take care of your 2-year-old and your 1-year-old. By the way, you can't do that. It's not legal. Yeah.
I feel like most people are going to disagree with that one.
I also
for sure.
feel the same way. So ask us and also ask your man because I feel like your man might have a different answer to you. Yeah. Tell us. Next one. My husband wants his name on the house I inherited. So my grandmother left me her house when she passed away. The house is fully paid off and it's only in my name. My husband and I decided to move into it with our children. Last week he asked when I planned to add his name to the deed. I told him I hadn't planned to. He looked surprised and said, "We are married. This is our family home now." I told him it's our home, but it was my grandmother's gift to me. He became quiet. Later, he said it made him uncomfortable putting money into renovations on a house he technically doesn't own. I understand his point, but adding someone's name to something my grandmother spent her life building feels like a much bigger decision than he's making it sound. Now he says keeping the house only in my name makes it seem like I'm already preparing for our marriage to fail. Would you add your spouse to the deed or keep the inheritance in your name?
If we flip it and it's the man who's refusing, that automatically sounds like, you idiot, definitely add her. But because it's her for some reason, I'm like, oof, I feel like less. But marriage.
I'm trying to put myself in that exact situation right now. Like my grandma dies.
Marriage is like, I mean, he's not wrong in his sentiment, but how she feels about it, I get that too. And by the way, a lot of prenups usually do this. They usually protect anything coming from the lineage to stay in the lineage, as opposed to for somebody to be able to inherit something that is like has gone down in the family.
As I'm thinking about it right now, in my exact context right now, I don't think I would have any reason to not add Zach's name.
Okay.
I feel like the first thought that has come to my mind is that why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are many things that even Zach has acquired during the time we have been married that he himself has paid for, he himself has invested in, but he puts both our names.
Because you're married now. That's
exactly
different.
But even now, you see, me coming to own it while we are married, whether I've bought it, whether I've inherited it, whether it's just a fall that just happened to come and whatever, I've come to now inherit it. I've come to now own it.
You're married.
And you're my husband. Actually, I don't see right now why I wouldn't want to give it to him. Especially if anything happens, even if we were to divorce, it's something that probably I would want to keep. I don't know if it would, because anyway, we don't have a prenup or anything like that.
You get divorced, usually it's sell it and split it.
In Kenya, I don't think so. I don't think it's sell it and split. I think maybe you will just agree, like, you're keeping this, me, I'm keeping this.
What
maybe
do you
we
mean?
would need to, like, now it's like you're keeping the Benz and the Prado, I'm gonna keep the house. And
Yeah,
you
but what
can
if
keep
the house
TV
is
and
what
the
you're
fridge.
contending on? Because that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, by the way, have been
crazy.
in contention for one piece of property for years.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
Yeah, so sometimes it's like that. It's not always like, oh, because you have these, then I'm here.
Yeah.
Sometimes people both want the same thing.
Yeah, no, but my first thought right now is
Is to
just that,
keep
yeah.
it.
But that's because I trust my husband. Of course, everybody trusts their husband when they are married at that time.
And also
but
what
I
you just
don't
said,
see,
though, that what he acquires alone while in the marriage, he puts both in your name. That's a
Exactly.
pretty solid thing to say, that he's sharing that, so you
That's
can
the
also
thing,
do that.
Also, I would imagine that even if I die, I would want my kids to inherit. My kids are his kids. And he would want the same thing. In my mind, I believe he would want the same thing. Exactly.
Everyone says that until the divorce is
that's
there.
the thing. But also, when you're married and you're happily married, you're not thinking divorce. And I know a lot of people are like,
Agreed.
be smart and think about no, because that's what now will now lead to the divorce. If you're all constantly planning for like, if things go wrong. No.
That makes no sense to me either.
Yeah. So I think in this context, I would add my husband's name. However, I validate and empathize with her, because you don't know also what was the dynamic between her and her grandma. What is the current dynamic between her and her husband? Also, like, things to do with ownership in the US, I don't know if it's like different or whatever. So I empathize with that. I don't think he has a right to be angry with her though for that. I feel like it's one of those things which, because it's so nuanced and touchy, it should be like, give it space, give it time. He's already expressed his interest, kind of thing. And it's like, okay, you've already said it. Maybe in his mind, he's like, why would I even have to say it? But yeah, you already have, people grow up in different contexts, but it's probably a conversation they should keep having over some years or months.
That's so interesting. The only thing I can think about for me is having a British passport. If someone marries me, then it's like you can then apply and whatever and get it. But obviously I need to be part of saying that this is something I'm doing. Even that, I'm like, we would need to be like 10 kids deep.
Lydia, not somebody who you're married to.
The amount of people who use people just for that. And I'm not talking about a little bit. I mean, they go out of their way to do that. But then sometimes I think you're going on holiday. Me and my kids are just like, oh, let's go tomorrow.
Yeah.
We need to wait 6 months for your visa.
That's the thing. Also, by the time you have already said yes to marry someone, I feel like you're already at that place, Lydia.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. And I feel like maybe less people then should be saying yes to marriage if those are not things that you should be doing. Again, I go back to our vows. One of the vows that you give when you're getting married, or at least we did, is that everything I have, I share with you. Everything I am, I give to you. Let that sink in.
I've got to say for me,
when you're about to get married. See, Besha ulisema hizo.
It's a trauma response because I've seen it. Like anyone who's been in like the UK and how things go, the amount of that happens, it actually put me so on edge.
Right.
So on edge. But maybe you're right. When I do love someone and I'm willing to have kids with them, first of all, I'm willing to have children with you.
You're literally willing to let him enter your susu.
What's up? No, entering the susu is every Friday.
What?
But I mean, like, children, the person who I choose to be the father of my kids.
Exactly. There you go.
Actually, I have a really high bar for that.
Thank you.
So then I feel like if I'm there, what on earth could I not share with you?
That's
if I've risked my life.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you for bringing me back because I think that has been a fear,
Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of people fully got married. They pretended for years, got married, waited, jumped ship.
The amount of dedication it would take for someone to really go through all that.
But that changes. If, like, let's say you don't have papers or whatever over there and you get it, that changes your entire life and your future generations from now on till forever. Yeah, I can put in a couple of years for it.
Okay, so then should anyone in the UK be getting married in the US? Like, I mean, I don't know.
You always see the couples and everyone's just like, get that visa. Get it? The ones I'm talking about.
But we don't, they could really truly be in love. So
they
you see,
could.
We don't know. Yeah.
But thank you for making me see that way because if I can have kids with you, then I want you to have it. I want you to feel secure in
That's
our
the
home.
thing, yeah. Also, I recognize that perhaps it's speaking from a point of privilege for me to feel like property is not the end all be all of what, like, the trauma that we could go through if we end up getting divorced. And I get that a lot of people are usually fighting over that. But to me, I just can't see that being the focal point of, like, now you've gotten divorced and that's the thing. That's the cross I'm dying on, this house that I inherited from my grandmother. I just don't see it.
I totally get it. It's the way I feel about the way people are always fighting over land from, like, their grandparents. I'm like, what? But I get it.
But you do understand exactly.
Totally
and
get
if
it.
you're literally seeing this as like something which could dramatically change your life financially and whatever, I can see how that. And that's another reason, by the way, which I always used to, before I met Zach, I always used to say I would love to get married to someone who is not too far above where I am financially or too far below.
Yeah.
It needed to be like, we can see we are where each other are. And I thank God that it's continue to be that way for the most of our marriage. It's like where you are is kind of like where I am. So none of us is having any extreme views with regards to privilege or with regards to scarcity. It's like you're both able to kind of like navigate in this center kind of like financial space, which I feel like helps you be a lot more like-minded when it comes to financial decisions. And I like that. Yeah.
But you say the way you said about like some people who are even in like the top 10 are like you
right.
are going to the primary school
worst.
that where you have to wash, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Because the trauma, like the change in their real life hasn't changed their views from where they're from.
Okay, so it's more of like having similar money values. More of having similar money values, yeah.
Agreed.
Again, those are one of those top 3 conversations you need to be having at the beginning of a relationship.
I definitely agree.
Damn, so you've had Lydia's man is not on the title deed.
Guys,
mine
I
is
said
on my
you've changed my mind in real time.
Oh, good.
And I've thought if it was the other way around, you know?
Her future man is watching this video right now and he's just wondering.
Okay. My best friend wants me to cancel my anniversary trip. My best friend is getting married next month. Yesterday, she told me her bachelorette weekend will be on the same weekend as my wedding anniversary. The problem is my husband and I already booked and paid for a trip months ago. When I told her I couldn't attend, she became quiet. Then she said, you celebrate your anniversary every year. I'm only getting married once. I reminded her that our trip is non-refundable. She said, if I were really your best friend, you'd find a way. Now, some of our friends think I should cancel the trip and support her. My husband thinks it's ridiculous that I'm even considering it. Would you cancel your anniversary trip for your best friend's bachelorette weekend?
I would.
You would?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I would think you wouldn't.
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know.
Mm.
Damn.
However, so it's different. It feels like,
I don't like the way the best friend is going about it.
yeah, I don't
as
like the way the best friends go about it. Also, bachelorette weekend versus this is your wedding. If it's I'm missing your
That's the
wedding,
thing.
I wouldn't miss your wedding. I wouldn't miss your wedding.
But you know, bachelorette weekends, like abroad, it's like
It's
the
like
beginning
proper,
and the
it's like
end.
yeah.
It's like a huge, huge deal. That's a tricky one.
It's a really tricky one.
I think the loss of money would really be a mess because it's non-refundable.
But the fact you've already spent the money, whether you go or you don't, the money has already been spent. The money
but
is
then now
already
you
there.
haven't enjoyed, you haven't gotten the value of the money if you don't go.
Me, I would tell Zach, go with one of your friends.
Husband's going through it every day.
Yeah, I would tell Zach, go with one of your friends because that way we've not lost the money. And she's right. We do celebrate our anniversary every year. So you go on this trip with one of your friends, male friends, obviously. Is that weird? Two men going on holiday together? I don't think so. Is it?
Is that weird for Zach?
No.
Or go with Ethan?
Exactly. Or
Take
go with
her with
Ethan or whatever. Is it weird? Would you go on a holiday, you and your guy friend? It's weird. Okay, fine, but maybe with Ethan, yeah.
Or something.
Or something like that, or his
And
mom
will
or
you
whatever.
ask Zach and tell us?
I will, yeah,
in the
exactly. I
next
feel like that's
episode.
what perhaps I would do because I feel like if the issue is the money, then it can still be spent with him going or even him going on his own. Probably that man has never taken a solo trip in his life.
Right.
That could be the reason for him to do that. And then I'll just attend the bachelorette. However, the whole conversation of how how the best friend has gone about it, that in itself is warranting of a deeper conversation.
Yep.
Is warranting of a deeper conversation. Yeah. This one, I can't even fathom you ever telling me, Joe, if you loved me, you would shave your hair because someone cut my hair by mistake. I can't even imagine
I
you
think
saying
when people
that.
say that, they're in their child consciousness.
That's it.
Because you are determining to me.
Yeah.
First of all, you are deciding that you are the sayer of what love is.
Yeah.
So if I haven't done it the way that you've done it, then it's wrong. I think that's childish.
Yeah.
But funny enough, if I told you that and you told me that, I'll be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. I would more feel like, what a shitty way that this has coincided.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe if you, bachelorette girl, if you loved her, you'd change your date for her.
Change the date, exactly.
Let's not do that. Let's not
Yeah.
play that game. I think there should be like empathy to both sides because obviously, first of all, you're expecting her to lose this money and pay
At
for
this
yours
other-
as well.
oh,
Like,
Lord.
and also like the way you're saying is like, oh, money is whatever. Maybe the situation isn't money
right.
is whatever for
Yeah.
them. This is maybe something they've been saving for a long time. It's special, it's
yeah.
important. And now she's going to have to spend money both ways. So yeah, no, I think you would need a gentler walk through.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. So maybe I wouldn't change my plans to go to the thing. Maybe it would be like, well, how can we make it work?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And like what is not as booked, like which one is like
Yeah.
less committed to
Let's
see
try
if
and
we
see
can
it, yeah.
if we
Not
can
have such
shift
a
it.
hardline stance about it. Yeah. Yeah, but me, I
Well,
would
it's
want
good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
That's-
definitely, I would
that's
ditch
sweet.
that money in a second for you, baby. I've been telling you, okay? Come on.
Like it.
Yep. Okay, next one. So what have we told her?
We've told her. You said that you would.
Yeah, but perhaps before the getting to the you would is having a better conversation with your best friend and be
Yeah.
like, I don't appreciate you making actually
Me
it's like
feel bad.
our whole relationship is coming down to you will love if you don't do this you don't love me.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I think that's a bit childish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would need to also know, like, is this something we can change? Like, I think the thing is, let's work to see how it can both work. If it doesn't, she has all the choice to decide whether or not she wants to come. And I don't think there should be like massive, crazy consequences. Yeah.
So I once was in this dynamic, by the way, with a friend who is no longer a friend of mine right now, but seemed to be in those kinds of situations a lot. But with her, I had realized that it was a bit of a pattern. So she was in a relationship with this guy, and she loved this guy like deep. Although him towards her, it always felt like he's kind of like partial, but she really was really, really in love with him like a lot. Now, there were many times where, and particularly things to do with my kids, like a kid's birthday party or like a kid's baptism in church, or like I don't know, we are sick in hospital or whatever, and she's traveled or something like that. But I noticed very many times that there would be instances where I feel like I need her to show up for me, but she always chooses him, and it was always things to do with him. Like I even remember one particular time, it was like one of my kids' birthday, and for him it was like his sister's birthday, like 32nd birthday or something like that. And it really, I remember that time I really gaslighted myself, because I was like, okay, I can see how, but to me it didn't make sense, because I was like, it's not even his birthday, it's his sister's birthday, and this is my child's birthday. Like I really just felt like some kind of way about
both
it.
Those exist?
Yeah,
you know what
but
I mean.
She didn't make an effort. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And often I felt like I would find us in these kinds of situations, but I never actually brought it up. It's just, to me, of course, I gaslit myself, just like, okay, I mean, yeah,
telling yourself that you're selfish about it, but you're
I realized now, after our friendship ended, is when in hindsight I was like, there are many times where, again, people will disappoint you when they realize you're the easiest person to disappoint, because you're never gonna say nothing. You ain't never, because I'm sure if one of those moments I did say, actually, I feel like you can disappoint him a little bit, because she never used to want to disappoint him, because she was always like afraid the relationship would end, so she would never. But with me, it's like, yeah, I know this relationship is not gonna end, so I can put you last. It's fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
babe.
Crazy. I went through a lot.
As I sit here listening, and I've been invited to one birthday party. just sip your drink, everyone. No, there's nothing to see here.
That was back when I used to.
People are being invited to children's things.
Lydia,
Wow.
you know I'm sick, and you know I'm going through a lot.
Okay.
When
Wow.
when
Must be nice.
Ethan was younger, I used to throw those birthday parties where it's like for adults and for kids, until I realized you spend triple when you're inviting both kids and adults. It's so much cheaper to just celebrate the kids.
Save the coin.
I don't have money.
Save that coin.
The next birthday you're invited by force. Next one, it's me.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Wow.
My husband recently changed the password on his phone. When I asked why, he smiled and said, married people still deserve privacy. I thought about it for a moment, then I nodded. You're right. A few days later, I changed the password on my phone too. That evening, he picked up my phone and asked, why isn't it opening? I told him I changed the password. He looked surprised. Then he asked, why do you suddenly need privacy? I reminded him of what he'd said just a few days earlier. He shook his head and said, that's different. I asked, how is it different? He didn't answer. I believe privacy and secrecy aren't the same thing, but I also believe the same rules should apply to both of us. Am I wrong for expecting that?
No, you're not. Actually, I find it hilarious that he has an issue with you, but he doesn't have an issue with him doing it.
Right. But if it wasn't a thing for you, why change it?
What?
Like, why now put the password because he has done it? That seems reactive and borderline childish.
No, funny enough, I think it's like even her, she hadn't thought that not having access to her phone would be a big deal until he put a block on her phone.
On his phone, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, it's like a new rule has been presented.
Right.
So apparently having passwords to our phone is like we all deserve privacy. I don't think you have access to my phone if you won't let me have access to yours. Tit for tat, bam for bam.
Okay, I definitely agree with that 100%. If I'm not accessing yours, you're not accessing mine.
No,
yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And also the fact that he's getting sassy about it.
Yeah. How do you feel about the line, married people still deserve privacy?
I do think that married people still deserve privacy, but it's you and your partner to have that discussion about where the parameters are.
Right.
Also, it's not like changing it this week, changing it that week. You know, it's like, like for example, some couples believe that going through my phone is like, you can use my phone, like take my phone, you can use Google, you can use the camera. It's not like I can't access it if I need to.
Yeah.
But in sitting down, going through my private messages and my private that's a line for them. But they both agree with that. Then that's what you guys have decided privacy is, because it's what makes sense to both of you. Tomorrow I change it. of course, something is going to give. Yeah.
I think I definitely agree with you. I feel like I like to have access to my partner's phone.
Access, I feel like, is the bare minimum.
Is the bare minimum. And I, in that same way, there's no way that I would have access to his and I would think, no, you can't have access to mine. That just doesn't make sense. I feel like it should be balanced. I think it's very sus the way this guy is responding. Very sus.
Deeply sus.
Extremely sus. I would really think deeply about like what is it that he has suddenly. In fact, I feel like she should have asked him, what is it suddenly that you need now the privacy for? If it has never been an issue, why suddenly do you need the privacy?
That change is what I would like to know about. Like, what is it? Like, where is it coming from? Yeah, we definitely need to investigate that. But I think that's
for sure. I also agree with the fact that different couples can determine what privacy means for them. I definitely like to have a really broad
definition.
Well, actually, a very slim definition. I don't like to imagine that there's something which I am involved in that my husband can't know about. Whether or not it's like I come and I bring it up, like, oh, by the way, today I stubbed my toe and whatever. Like, I don't imagine that there's many parameters around which it's like, no, this is private. This is just for me. And I don't imagine the same for him. However, different people and different couples operate very differently. There are, of course, couples who is like they're completely open financially. There are others who aren't open financially. There are people who are completely open about, like, let's say what's happening in your own family life. There are others who it's like they're not gonna say until it's like now really, really serious. So every couple to their own. But it's definitely, don't expect now you're not telling me, everyone. I'm going to now tell you, nah.
Agree. Yeah. I've got to say that for me, the idea that anybody can take my phone and go into my WhatsApp messages, looking through them, or my texts, that would be it. That is ridiculous. And I will also not do that to you. That's it. First of all, I don't want to know, because if you check me and this bitch's conversation, you're done.
You know,
and that will be your problem. That will be your problem. Whatever you see, me calling you that bald ass, like looking like a bird,
heavy baboon.
That's your problem.
Now look,
That's now what have you done? You know, it's like keep it. I am really not obsessed with knowing everything. And trust me, guys, we like to control things so much, but the truth,
you can't control it. Yeah,
and it comes to you there. Yep. It comes to you that you are just chilling. Are you guys watching something on his phone? Boom, that's big booty hole. Miss you.
Last night was great.
You're right. Searching around, relax.
Often, the times when you're searching, you're not going to find anything.
Nope.
It'll just come in the middle of the night when now suddenly he accidentally sent the message to you instead of sending to her.
Yep. Boom. And here you are.
The message saying, yeah, this bitch is about to fall asleep. I'm on my way.
That life of like, I don't want to live like that. I don't.
Definitely. I agree.
So everyone define it for themselves.
And let us know. Do you all have passwords on your phone? Do your man get in your phone? Let us know, girl.
Okay. So I was flying from Indianapolis to Seattle. For context, that's 4 hours and 45 minutes flight for a work conference. When a flight attendant stopped beside me, she smiled and asked, would you mind switching seats so a family can sit together? I looked at the seats she was offering me. It was a middle seat, all the way in the back. I paid extra for an aisle seat weeks earlier because it was a 4-hour flight, all right, and wanted the extra leg room. When I politely said no, I could feel the people staring at me. A woman across the aisle muttered, some people only think about themselves. The flight attendant nodded politely and walked away. About 10 minutes later, another passenger volunteered to switch. As everyone settled in, the man sitting next to me leaned over and quietly said, don't feel bad. I paid extra for this seat too. I wouldn't have switched either. The rest of the flight, I kept wondering, was I selfish or was I simply keeping a seat I paid for? What would you have done? I'm not switching. Kenny can go to the back. Kenny, go to the back of the bus seat. Go to the back.
And she's wondering why she's not invited to the birthday parties.
You see, broke-ass parents, would you pay for extra leg room?
No, guys.
Bye, Kenny.
See you later. This is what I would have done.
Yeah.
If first of all, if it's a woman with kids,
it is usually it's a kid. It's like there's parents, and then now the kid will have your seat.
I would politely ask the parents to refund me the extra money that I paid. and then I would just go to the back.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like, it would be, okay, this is an inconvenience, but for the kid to be with the parents, I would do that, yeah.
Yeah.
And if they're willing to pay, yeah. Honestly, yeah, if they're willing to pay, I would do it. If not, I'm sitting where I'm sitting. I'm so sorry.
I agree.
Yeah.
My natural thing would not think to risk my discomfort. Like, it's not my natural reaction. I would be thinking about how far away from this is, like, how far from the truth of how I want to exist is this? And then I would wait like that. But I'm always happy to have families sit together because I know what that feels like. Or couples, like maybe they've just been sat in an awkward way kind of thing. If it's not too extreme, I'm willing to switch. But back near the bathroom in the middle seat.
And middle? No, I don't think so.
Also for me, like 4 hours is not that much. Flight to London, 8.5 hours.
That's a lot. That's Nairobi to Joburg, isn't it?
No, that doesn't feel like bad. For me, flights start to get intense when it's like 6 and above hours.
That's true.
4-hour flight, I won't even think about it. Yeah, but now the paying extra.
Four seems a lot. Yeah, the paying extra is definitely something. And also it's like, why didn't you guys plan yourselves well?
Sometimes it happens that way.
You guys came late or whatever.
Or even when you're like choosing the seats or whatever, maybe like when you're checking in, it's like late. So you are just put the way that you are. I think that's a really great solution. Be like, oh, hi, I would love to switch, but I did pay extra for this seat. Yeah. Are you willing to refund me the difference? And I'm happy to move. Yeah. If it's no... Back on the bus, Kenny. Back on the bus. Back on the bus.
Kenny, if you're ever watching this in the future, she does love you.
Oh my God, I would switch in a heartbeat for you, baby.
She's lying, but
for you, baby.
But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, baby. Okay, next one. My husband recently told me he wants his mother to move into our home permanently.
Ooh, child. Things are not gonna get easier.
She lives alone and he says she's getting older and shouldn't have to be by herself. I understand his concern, I really do. But we have 2 children and our house already feels crowded. I suggested we help her find an apartment closer to us so we can visit and help whenever she needs it. My husband wasn't happy. He said, if it were your mother, you wouldn't be suggesting an apartment. That hurt because I don't think this is about whose mother it is. I think decisions that affect our home should be made by both of us. Now he says I'm making him choose between his wife and his mother. I don't want him to choose. I just don't think saying no to living together means I don't care about her. Am I being selfish, or should both spouses have to agree before a parent moves into their home?
First of all, they definitely have to agree, both of them. Like, how are you? Actually, I saw this woman, they divorced for this exact issue.
This is divorceable.
This is divorceable. Yep. He was like, the kids love my mom at home. I love her, so the only problem is you. She's like, but who are you married to? You're married to me, and this is my home. He's like, this is the end of the conversation. It's happening. They're moving in. That was cause for divorce. So this is not like a small thing, because the way you're considering me is like a big thing. But then also from this other side, it's my mom. I feel like, if you're feeling like it's too cramped, can we get into a bigger house?
Okay,
I feel like it's conversational.
Right, yeah.
Let's get into a bigger house where it doesn't feel like we are stacking on top of each other. Yeah. And by the way, I am somebody who really thinks that having grandparents close is such a blessing. Good value for kids as well. Yeah. So I would be open, but with different structures.
That's the thing. So one, I feel like a lot of situations in life, especially in marriages, can feel like it's either this or this, but often there are many in-betweens. Often there are very many in-betweens. I like the idea of the apartment. I like the idea of, can we find a bigger house if we can afford it? Mm-hmm. I like the idea of both of those things. I like the idea of even like if we get a different house and maybe there's a different floor, or even like a cottage at the back where it's like she's able to stay there for it to whatever, because I can see how this would be really problematic. During COVID, my mother-in-law got unwell.
I do remember this.
And you remember have I shared it on the podcast before? I'm not sure if I have, but she got unwell and she came to stay with us. She stayed with us 8 months. Now, initially, when she had come in, there was no really discussion of how long she's going to stay, but she was unwell. It was a difficult time. It was really nice to have her over. But over time, it became clear that, first of all, no matter how much you love a person, there the dynamic of your family is not the same when someone who is not a member of your nuclear family is staying there. Even when Nelly was living with us, even when you have a living nanny, like anyone who is in the home who is not a core part of the family, it changes the dynamics. And over time, we did realize that there's a certain dynamic that was shifting that me personally now was just like, okay, I think it's time for her to be able to go back home. At that time, by the way, Zach was very understanding. Like he had always been like, for him, he loved having his mom close, but he could see like, yeah, we need to have our own space, and she left. But during that time that she was there, it was clear. And by the way, we kept mentioning, I kept saying, yeah, this is not like a forever thing, because that's how things become forever things, slowly by slowly. But at the same time, I would also do my diligence as a wife to ensure that everyone, the dynamic knows I love you, I love her, and I love this. But there's also, you can love someone and also not want to live with them. I love you, you don't live with me.
Listen.
Come on.
Listen.
Come, please.
Listen.
Yeah. And I feel like that's one of the most essential things. I can see how that is a divorceable thing, by the way, because you definitely are just not living the same. You're not operating the same, even how much you love this person, no matter how much you guys bond and like have whatever. No, it's not the same.
And for me, it's usually the lack of consideration when you're like, what's your problem? And the fact that you're making me feel like I don't have a choice in fact, I think the divorceable issue tends to be how you're going about it.
Yep.
Like, it's like, this is ridiculous. How could you not want this? Without understanding. But no, there's like so many ways. Some people feel so stimulated when other people are around. Like, it would just make them not feel like they are at home in their own home.
Right.
And why am I a sacrificial lamb for you?
Yeah.
You know?
That's the thing.
No, it's a really, really tricky thing. I think about it all the time. But even me, I'm not trying to move in my mom. You know? And like,
that's the thing.
Like, I'm not trying to do that.
I feel like
for
adults
home.
should just mostly just be in their own houses. It's just different. I feel like no matter how well you get along with your parent, there's just a different, even how you are with your own parent vis-a-vis how you are when you're with your husband, vis-a-vis how you are when you're with your kids. It's just different. Like, that's just not the way that things are supposed to be.
Yeah.
However, many Africans will tell you that that's the way it's supposed to be, because, you know, in African culturally, it's like we're all kind of just living in the same space. Indians do this, by the way.
They do. And I love that for them, because that's like part of their culture.
Yeah.
But if we're always going to go back to culture, then I don't need to work.
Oh, yeah, bitch. You don't.
Oh, okay. So you like that I contribute financially. Then let's not go back to culture, because right now we are not in culture. Let's not do that. Don't pick and choose. Do not pick and choose. Let's just go forward in one way.
Yeah.
And just empathy, leading with empathy. Is like, I empathize him. He doesn't want his mom to feel like abandoned and left alone and all of that. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Another essential thing to discuss before marriage,
like
guys.
What?
Really essential. This one of like parents living with you, because they are actually, I do know many men who they just know when my mom gets old, she's coming to live with us. And that's actually just the way it is. Whereas you're thinking about what home are you going to put her in? How are you going to ensure, like, people have very differing views when it comes to this. So it's essential to discuss that.
Let's talk. So when your mom gets really, really old, what is going to happen? Because let's say, God forbid, not even God forbid, it's kind of part of life that she might not be able to take care of herself at some point because she's old.
Right now, my shosho is old.
Mm-hmm.
My shosho is old and she lives in Embu. But my mom and her sister, because my mom and her sister are the only ones who are the surviving kids of my grandma, they take care of her in terms of like they have hired a nurse and a housekeeper in the home, because my shosho wants to stay in her house in Embu.
But they most of the times do.
Always do, exactly. So they have a housekeeper, but they like daily actively manage her how she's being taken care of in terms of like the shopping, ensuring that she has everything that she needs, ensuring she has like, you know, all the food that she needs to eat, is always able to go for checkups. My mom goes there at least twice a month to be able to check on her and stuff like that. There was a time when she had a stroke, my shosho, and she had to be in a home for some time. That was when we were kind of young, and I could see how my mom had 4 kids. How are you bringing how is someone like, you know? But I've seen how even without having my shosho, because I don't think my shosho has ever come to live with us, I think maybe like a week tops while we were growing up, I've seen how they have been able to show love and care, but in a way that has appropriate boundaries. So I feel like that's what I would want to do. I definitely would want to, if I can have an arrangement where like we are living here and maybe next door or 2 doors
like
down,
even an SQ or
exactly,
something,
or somewhere close by. I would love for them to be able to have access to them and them to be able to have access to us, but not living in the same house.
You know, I guess because my mom lives in the UK, like I think about like, because now it's not like that, but I'm like, okay, God forbid Tim isn't there, so my mom is like alone, right? I think I'll just have her, I'll try and move her here.
When you're married with kids, or you mean like right now,
but
Lydia,
not to
right
me.
now?
No,
yeah.
not to move inside my house,
Yeah, all
but
right,
like move
yeah.
her back, so that then help and everything like that is readily available. Because thinking about her all alone in the UK by herself, like living with a nurse,
tough.
no, that makes me feel so sad. But
you
now
see,
maybe have her come.
So proximity
Maybe I'll
is
ask her
essential.
what you'd want,
Proximity is really, really
Yes,
good,
yes,
but
yes.
also not like now. Because funny thing, a lot older people also, despite the fact that they're older and they're like sick or whatever, they also like having some level of agency.
Agreed.
In their lives, and some level of privacy. There's sometimes where it's like now, you know, they kind of get themselves in slightly embarrassing situations. You don't want them also just exposed to like, okay, Shosho has done this, Shosho has fallen here or whatever. They also deserve some kind of like dignity in how they're managed in that later in life. I feel like there's always a balance that can be struck.
I agree.
Between having those boundaries, but also there being some level of like privacy and whatever.
Yeah, I think I'll ask my mom what she would want, because for sure I do think it's not even a responsibility. It's the joy of my life to take care of my mom in whichever way she wants to be taken care of when she's older. But yeah, I think I would like to ask her.
You should, and think about it in the context of now having a husband and kids.
Yeah, when I have a husband and kid,
Let us know, guys. Also, I feel like many women are guilt-tripped into like, okay, so what's the reason why you don't want her to stay over?
I don't want to.
What's
enough.
the reason?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay, you have an extra room. Okay, you have whatever. It's a different dynamic when you're living with someone's parent. It's just a different dynamic when someone else is in the home who is not a member of the nuclear family, and that's just what it is.
A lot of those situations were really nuanced, and actually it's like you need to be in the situation or maybe get a little bit more information. I think most of them were more about how we're going about it versus even what the issue necessarily is.
Yeah.
As Joe's mom tells us, life is lived in conversation.
Come on.
So when people talk about things in an empathetic way, in like more of an accommodating way, there's definitely more room to be able to come to a resolution that helps both of them. But I know sometimes I feel like when I think something like my mom coming to live with me, I'm like, what do you have to argue about, donkey? Do you know what I mean?
Me being her husband. Her husband.
You know, like, think.
Yeah,
you know, but it can't definitely be like that. That's because you feel passionate about something doesn't mean that your partner needs to match that energy.
Yeah.
But
please, guys, it's very essential as early as possible in your relationship to have conversation about such things, about like your kids' education, things to do with financials, things to do with inheritance and land, things to do with parents, with in-laws. Those are small things. Sorry, I'll send you a list, baby.
Okay.
Those are the things that actually break up marriages. Forget even cheating, forget what infidelity. Those ones are the things. And you'll find, by the way, that because we are all raised so differently, as strongly as you feel like, yeah, of course not, is the same way someone else feels, what? Of course we wouldn't. Like, and then now it's like, okay, where is the middle ground there? Where is the middle ground there? Yeah, please have those conversations, guys. You don't want to be caught flat-footed in those. And of course, things change. Over time, things change. Maybe it's like you'd be thinking, oh, can we get an apartment nearby? Maybe there's no money for an apartment.
Exactly.
You know, maybe it's like, oh, she's been told she has 3 months to live. Are we staying with her those 3 months? Like there's so many different like nuances to like the life stuff. Yeah. But I feel like if we are leading with empathy, if we are leading with, I'm sure we can find a solution in between where you are and where I am. I feel like you would be good.
Yeah.
I wish more people thought like that. That like, okay, you want this, I want this. Okay, what can we do which can at least be able to like work for both of us?
It's true.
More people need to think that way.
I pray I'm a wife and a mom and a friend and a business partner who leads with love. Like when I think about scenarios that end up being so toxic and rigid and hard is because someone stepped away from that place of love and not even necessarily meaning to. Yeah. But I think I always try to challenge myself to ask myself, am I leading with love here? Yeah. Of course, if you're being abused, you probably shouldn't be. But aside that, are you leading with love? Ask yourself today.
Like you! Oh,
bless you. I was about to say something cheeky. I was like, are you leading with love? Oh. Ask yourself, in the scenario that you're debating about right now, whatever scenario is, are you leading with love? As I said, if you're not being considered, if you are being neglected, you don't need to be leading with love. But otherwise, ask yourself, and I think the world would be a better place if we all did. Let us know what you thought about some of those and what are your views, especially if you've had an experience with this kind of situation. Please let us know in the comments below, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Faith is a leap, trusting your